"I'm sorry, but we don't just give out large sums of cash to anyone who walks in," declared bank manager Jessica Keller, her tone dripping with condescension. As she shoved the withdrawal slip back toward the black woman across the counter, she added, "especially not amounts like this." The words seemed to echo off the gleaming marble floors of Meridian Financial's most prestigious branch. A small circle of employees stood by, observing the exchange. One junior staff member bent her head close to a coworker and whispered, loud enough for people nearby to hear, "Right. She doesn't even look like she's got that kind of money." Snickers spread among the group. Through it all, Angela, the undercover black CEO, remained outwardly calm, refusing to let her dignity falter despite the sharp sting of humiliation that grew with each passing second. Little did these employees realize how drastically their professional lives, and the fate of this entire bank, were about to change. The woman they believed undeserving of withdrawing her own money was about to reveal her true identity. Have you ever been judged before anyone bothered to learn your name or your story? This account offers an incredibly satisfying example of instant karma. And if you believe that all people, regardless of appearance or background, deserve respect, comment "respect" first below and hit that subscribe button now. The story began quietly enough with an elegant black woman standing at a teller's window. Her posture was upright, her expression composed, even as bank staff hovered behind the counter, staring and smirking. This woman was Angela Freeman, though not a single employee recognized her in that moment. A quarter-century earlier, in an entirely different scene, Angela wore a crisp uniform and a trainee name tag at another bank counter. Her journey from that humble position to the executive suite was nothing short of astonishing. Angela didn't hail from wealth or benefit from insider connections. Her strength was a relentless work ethic paired with keen intelligence. She rose steadily at Meridian Financial, starting as a teller, then moving to loan officer, branch manager, and eventually regional director. With every new position, Angela honed her expertise. She went on to earn her MBA from Harvard, set record-breaking results in multiple divisions, and built a reputation as the company's secret weapon for turning around underperforming branches. 5 years ago, after reaching the COO, Chief Operations Officer, level, many assumed she had reached her professional peak. But they were mistaken. 3 months earlier, when Meridian's then CEO announced his retirement, the board of directors reached a pivotal fork in the road. Although Angela's qualifications were beyond reproach, and she had 2 decades of loyalty to back her up, there were whispers about whether a black woman at the helm might make certain major clients uneasy. After a tense vote, Angela Freeman was named CEO, the first black woman to lead Meridian Financial in its long history. Following her official acceptance speech, she had privately committed to a mission, "Every client, every employee, every community we serve, will receive the same standard of respect and excellence. No exceptions." These weren't mere words on paper. Angela had already been investigating disturbing patterns of client dissatisfaction. Despite the bank's high-level surveys indicating good performance, she uncovered subtler data telling a more worrying story. Certain branches consistently mishandled or alienated particular demographics. Complaints never made it to the top, and when they did, they were often explained away or buried in statistical summaries. Realizing she couldn't trust second-hand reports or polished presentations, Angela embraced a plan, the undercover boss strategy. She needed to see with her own eyes what clients experienced in the day-to-day operations of her flagship branch. On paper, this branch, managed by Jessica Keller, a 15-year employee with outstanding performance metrics, seemed a jewel in the company's crown. Transaction volumes were high, new accounts were booming, and the branch even consistently surpassed cross-selling targets. Nevertheless, Angela noticed that minority customers were dropping their accounts or leaving after only a few visits, even though there were few formal complaints. Exit interviews hinted at a pattern of discourtesy or outright hostility. Most clients left without pressing the issue, taking their business elsewhere. At 9:15 a.m. on a regular Tuesday morning, Angela Freeman arrived at Meridian Financial's flagship location. She'd deliberately chosen plain attire, a basic navy hoodie, comfortable slacks, and a simple cap. Her hair was neatly styled in a natural look, and her makeup was subtle. Anyone who saw her would likely assume she was a typical middle-class customer, certainly not the bank's top executive. Angela settled into a chair in the waiting area, phone in hand, pretending to scroll aimlessly. However, her attention was laser-focused on how the staff treated people. Within 15 minutes, she witnessed more evidence of bias than 100 official surveys could ever show. A sharply dressed white businessman entered. A teller practically rushed to him before he even reached the main counter. Good morning, sir, what can we do for you today? He was whisked away to a private desk immediately, skipping any line altogether. Moments later, an elderly Asian couple came in. They were told to take a number and wait, with no effort at warmth or friendliness. A casually dressed white woman, about college age, was welcomed cheerfully and finished her transaction in under 2 minutes, the teller asking about her weekend plans with bright enthusiasm. Next up was a Hispanic man in custodial clothes, who faced multiple ID requests and suspicious stares. His simple check cashing ended up taking nearly 10 minutes. It was impossible not to see the pattern. Certain people got swift, courteous service, while others got questioned, delayed, or brushed aside. Angela observed this cycle play out several more times before she decided to approach a teller herself. By then, she had waited 37 minutes, despite the lobby not being especially crowded. The real kicker, 3 white patrons who arrived well after her had already completed their banking. Approaching Beth, a young teller, Angela offered a polite smile. Beth started to greet her but paused when she saw the requested withdrawal amount. How can I help you? Beth asked, her earlier friendliness replaced by caution. I'd like to withdraw $115,000, Angela said calmly, sliding her ID and withdrawal slip across the counter. Beth's eyes flickered with surprise. She scrutinized Angela's driver's license, then double-checked the slip as if expecting some glaring mismatch. That's a pretty large sum, Beth stammered, her raised voice drawing attention from the neighboring teller. Yes, it is. But I'm well within the daily withdrawal limit for this account, Angela replied steadily. Rather than proceed, Beth turned and whispered hurriedly to Mark, the senior teller next to her. Mark peered at Angela, nodded, and stepped around to hover just behind Beth, projecting an air of authority. Is there an issue? Mark demanded, his voice carrying across the busy lobby. People turned and stared. An older woman clutched her purse nervously, as if something illegal might be happening. Remaining composed, Angela placed her bank card beside her ID. No problem. I'd simply like to withdraw money from my own account, she said. Mark scooped up Angela's ID with exaggerated care, flipping it as though scanning for flaws. We've seen irregular activity with these types of accounts, he announced, emphasizing these types in a way that left no doubt about the insinuation. We have to be really cautious. Angela's tone remained level. What specific kind of accounts are we talking about? She inquired. Mark ignored the question entirely. Beth, pull up the account history, he said, leaning in. Another staff member, Richard, sidled over and mumbled something loud enough for Angela to catch. Probably a money laundering scheme, or maybe she's trying to cash a fake check. You know how it goes. He examined Angela's modest clothes and her natural hairstyle with a sneering smirk. Then, adopting a sweetly false tone, he offered, we want to be absolutely certain your funds belong to you, you understand, right? It's just for your safety. The deliberate humiliation was obvious. They were provoking her, waiting for her to become angry so they could label her as a threat and justify refusing the transaction. Yet Angela stood tall, voice unwavering. "I appreciate security measures," she said evenly, but I've provided my ID, my bank card, and this is my long-standing account. I should be allowed to withdraw my money. At that moment, Richard beckoned Jessica Keller, the branch manager, who marched across the lobby as if she owned it. Jessica's features were carved into an expression of professional concern tinged with arrogance. "Ma'am, I understand there's some confusion with your withdrawal," she began, ignoring the possibility that Angela might deserve an introduction. "There's no confusion on my end," Angela corrected, maintaining her calm. "I'm just here to access my own funds." Jessica's thin smile didn't reach her eyes. "That's a large amount of cash. Might I ask what you plan to do with it?" She asked the question at a volume easily heard by bystanders. By then, the implicit double standard was glaring. More than one white customer had transacted similarly high amounts that morning without being grilled for an explanation. "Mrs. Freeman, Jessica said at last, glancing at Angela's ID, holding it by the edges as if it might taint her. "I'm afraid this amount isn't typical for someone of your profile. Meridian has certain standards for our clientele, and we can't meet your needs here." And there it was, laid out in black and white, a purely discriminatory assumption. Angela felt the same knot in her chest that she had felt countless times over the years, people sizing her up, reducing her to a mere stereotype. Mark and Richard exchanged triumphant looks. Beth, less brazen, stared at a pile of deposit slips, visibly uneasy yet silent. Meanwhile, 2 or 3 other employees hovered nearby, clearly aligned with Jessica's stance. Laughter and snide comments flickered at the edges of the group. Richard leaned against the counter, confidence buoyed by Jessica's presence. "It's interesting, though," he remarked loudly enough to draw more onlookers. Did you recently stumble into this money, maybe a settlement, inheritance, or something else?" The implication being that no black woman could legitimately have earned such wealth through skill, intelligence, or a thriving business enterprise. Angela took a measured breath. Even though the situation was humiliating, she refused to let them provoke her into an emotional outburst. "I'd like to speak to someone with actual authority," she said calmly. Someone who can finalize my transaction." Jessica's practiced smirk reappeared. "I am the highest authority in this branch," she replied, her voice dripping with superiority. There's no one else for you to see." She leaned closer, speaking in a stage whisper, "Perhaps you'd feel more comfortable going down the street to the check-cashing place. They're more, shall we say, used to your kind of business." The arrogance was breathtaking, the racism undisguised. A hush spread throughout the lobby. At one of the other teller windows, a mother with 2 kids stopped mid-transaction to eavesdrop, drawing her children near as if Angela were dangerous. The bank's motto, "Building financial success together with trust, respect, and integrity," was posted prominently on the wall, mocking the ugliness unfolding beneath it. Angela quietly reached into her purse, an unbranded leather bag gifted to her when she was promoted to COO, and produced her phone. "One moment, please." She stepped a couple of feet away from the counter, still in full view of everyone, as she dialed. Richard elbowed Mark, and they chuckled quietly. Beth, on the other hand, looked like she wanted to vanish. Another customer, an older black gentleman in a postal uniform, observed with resignation. Clearly, this wasn't the first time he'd witnessed blatant prejudice at this branch. Jessica, running out of patience, marched up to Angela, her expensive shoes echoing on the marble floor. "I'm afraid I must ask you to leave if you won't cooperate," she threatened, her voice carrying easily. "This is a private business, and we have the right to refuse service. If you don't go, I'll have to call security. Asterisk in her mind, Angela was the one causing the disturbance, not the staff's brazen misconduct. Angela continued her conversation calmly, asterisk, yes, I'm still here, at the downtown branch. They've refused to release my funds. Asterisk the time on the large clock behind Jessica read 10:17 a.m., a detail that would become quite significant in the official records and not long after. Jessica signaled to Mark, who began to dial the security extension. Just as he did, Angela ended her call with a few short words that would alter every life in that building, asterisk, Diane, I need you at the downtown branch immediately. Asterisk. Jessica froze. Diane Porter, head of operations for the entire bank? Realization prickled at the edges of Jessica's stiff expression. But her ego quickly reasserted itself, probably just name-dropping for intimidation purposes. She's bluffing, she offered a dismissive shake of her head, certain no random woman in a hoodie could possibly have the direct line to someone that high up. At Meridian's corporate headquarters, Diane Porter leapt up from her desk like it was on fire. She recognized Angela's voice instantly. Diane and Angela had a long history of championing each other through multiple promotions, each breaking through countless glass ceilings. Diane's face turned pale as she grasped the gravity of Angela's call. Get me every single complaint from the downtown branch over the past year, she barked at her assistant. Asterisk, all of them. Even if they never made it into the official system. Asterisk. Staffers sprang into motion, gathering data as Diane snatched up her tablet and her security badge. The rhythmic click of her designer heels sounded like gunfire on the polished floors. In a nearby boardroom, a few members of Meridian's board were evaluating quarterly figures. Now, their screens abruptly switched to live security footage from the downtown branch. Asterisk, what on earth is going on? Asterisk asked Jonathan Prescott, the board's chairman, noticing the tension on the security team's faces. You'll want to see this, sir, asterisk one of the security managers responded grimly. His complexion visibly paled as the images popped onto the monitors. The entire board watched in stunned silence as the scene unfolded, their CEO, in disguise, being openly disrespected, ridiculed, and denied service in her own company. That's Angela Freeman, stammered another board member. Asterisk, our CEO. Asterisk. Yes, asterisk the security director confirmed, asterisk, and this has been going on for at least 17 minutes. Asterisk. Record everything, asterisk Prescott commanded, voice shaking with anger. Asterisk every word, every second. And have legal meet us immediately. Asterisk. Back in the branch, Jessica began to sense an impending catastrophe. The earlier bravado in her eyes receded, replaced by the first hint of genuine uncertainty. Unknown to her, the security cameras had captured her staff's discriminatory treatment of other customers throughout the morning, evidence of the same bigoted playbook repeated again and again. The bank's own systems, designed for safety, were about to implicate the real threat hidden inside its walls. Angela Freeman, calm as ever, slipped her phone back into her bag. She observed Jessica with a look that was part pity, part resolve. Jessica had no clue she was on the brink of destroying her own entire career. Upstairs, on the 21st floor of Meridian's headquarters, the atmosphere was charged. A room usually reserved for calmly monitoring security feeds was now a makeshift war room. Diane Porter stood at the helm, her posture rigid and her voice carrying the bite of righteous fury. Check every camera angle, she commanded. Asterisk, I need time stamps, faces, words, everything. Asterisk technicians raced to comply, pulling up multiple views of Angela's treatment, from the second she walked in, to the moment Jessica threatened to call security. The board members gaped at the live feed, watching the staff's eye rolls, smirks, and overtly different treatment of customers based on appearance. The audio was crystal clear. On one screen, Jessica's words came through, dripping with scorn, asterisk, you're probably better off going to a check cashing place, if you get what I mean. Asterisk on another screen, the staff's mocking of Angela repeated in loops. The shock in the boardroom was palpable. They had always maintained that discrimination didn't happen here, that their company was built on fairness, that the training programs had removed bias. Now, the truth was staring them in the face. "This is our flagship branch," whispered board member Catherine Reynolds in horror. "How often does this happen?" The unspoken question, how many customers of color had walked away silently, never voicing their experiences. "I want the full file on Jessica Keller," Diane ordered, stepping into the hallway, tablet in hand. Her performance reviews, her complaint records, all of it. "Get me everything within the next 15 minutes. And inform legal we have a massive compliance issue at hand." She flicked through the branch analytics on her tablet, seeing a seemingly perfect record that masked a deeper crisis. When the data was filtered by race and demographic factors, disturbing trends leapt out: the highest minority account rejection rate in the region, the lowest loan approvals for black business owners, and a steadily rising churn of customers of color. It was a bomb waiting to explode, and it was all under Jessica Keller's watch. At the branch, Jessica was now hustling the security guard, a visibly nervous young man named Thomas, into action. "Remove this woman." She ordered, pointing at Angela as though she were an inanimate object. She's causing a scene and refuses to leave. Jessica presumed that if she acted decisively, none of this would come back to haunt her. "Yes, ma'am," Thomas muttered, shifting uneasily. His training didn't cover moral dilemmas like this, he only knew standard instructions for confronting potential thieves or disruptive individuals. Angela, unwavering, addressed Thomas, "I have every right to be here. I'm a legitimate account holder, trying to withdraw my money. I've broken no rules." He paused, uncertain, caught between the branch manager's authority and the uneasy sense that something here was very wrong. Jessica folded her arms, refusing to look at Angela. "We're a private institution, and I'm telling you, we can deny service to suspected frauds." That word, fraud, cast the heaviest possible suspicion in a banking environment. Yet to onlookers, the real deception was that of a fair institution, a facade being torn down right before their eyes. A small cluster of staff lined up behind Jessica. Mark crossed his arms and turned his name badge backward so no one could read it on camera. Richard wore a smug expression, twirling a pen in his fingers as if bored. Even Beth, who seemed clearly uncomfortable, said nothing. A silent unity of institutional racism. Several customers observed the scene. Some feigned distraction, but others watched openly. One white customer, perhaps in his mid-40s, intervened with typical entitlement. "Hey lady, some of us have real banking to do today," he grumbled. If you're not gonna leave, stop holding everybody up. Angela thought about the countless staff meetings she had led on customer service excellence and fair treatment. All those memos, training modules, and diversity pledges seemed pitifully ineffective now. Rather than argue, Angela simply raised her phone and recorded the heightened tension. She captured the staff's scoffs, the security guard's uncertainty, the unsympathetic customers' complaints. Every second had the potential to become a crucial piece of evidence. Jessica, noticing Angela was filming, shot her a lethal glare. "It's against our policy to record in here," she said, forcing confidence she no longer truly felt. This is yet another violation. Angela responded, according to Meridian Financial's policy, Section 4.3, clients are entitled to record any transaction where they believe their rights aren't being respected. That's in your own customer bill of rights. Jessica visibly flinched at Angela's knowledge of company regulations, rules that most customers wouldn't be aware of. Anger twisted Jessica's face as she pivoted back to the staff. Asterisk, you see what I mean? Asterisk, she barked, loud enough for the entire floor to hear. Asterisk, these people always try to work some angle, bending the rules to their advantage, or maybe trying to trap us in a lawsuit. Asterisk. Now, Jessica wasn't hiding behind the corporate speak of security measures. She was vocalizing pure prejudice, painting Angela as manipulative merely because she was black. And the bank's cameras were capturing every word. Customers stared, frozen in disbelief or dismay. A few staff members who had earlier shown bravado began to shift awkwardly. Richard, who had so openly mocked Angela before, looked around nervously, as though aware that something was spinning out of control. Beth, the first teller, looked physically ill, no doubt replaying her role in the fiasco. Meanwhile, Angela remained motionless, like the calm at the center of a storm. Every moment she stood there, a lifetime of experiences with discrimination, both blatant and subtle, surfaced in her mind, fueling her resolve. If she had to endure this mistreatment to expose a systemic issue and protect other customers in the future, she would do so without hesitation. Suddenly, the branch's tall glass doors flew open with a thunderous crash that reverberated through the marble lobby. Every head turned to see Diane Porter stride into the room. Second in command of the bank, Diane commanded respect in her tailored navy suit, her every step a controlled burst of purpose. Her voice rang out, asterisk, stop this immediately. Asterisk, authority radiated from her so powerfully that everyone, even the defiant Jessica, halted. Jessica's expression morphed from annoyance to alarm. Diane Porter rarely visited branches unannounced, certainly not her own prized flagship. And she certainly never marched in like that. Richard's smug grin vanished. Mark, the senior teller, uncrossed his arms and let them drop, while Beth looked near tears. Jessica tried to compose herself, brushing her hair back. Ms. Porter, she said, forcing a plastic smile. Asterisk, what brings you here so unexpectedly? Can I? Asterisk. Before Jessica could finish, Diane pointed at Angela. Asterisk, do you have any idea who this woman is? Asterisk, she demanded. Jessica looked puzzled, glancing between Diane and Angela. A faint quake of dread rippled over her face. Was this woman somebody famous, a VIP client, a powerful regulator? Around them, customers fell silent, many recording the altercation on their phones. One elderly black woman, who'd been in line for some time, seemed to nod in approval at the dramatic turn of events. Diane stepped over to Angela and, in a transformation from commanding to empathetic, she said, asterisk, I deeply apologize for this ordeal, especially here of all places. Asterisk, then she turned with steely eyes to face the entire staff. Asterisk, this is Angela Freeman, CEO of Meridian Financial, your CEO. Asterisk. Her announcement was like a physical force. Jessica recoiled as if struck. Richard, eyes wide, lifted a trembling hand to his mouth, realizing too late that he'd been mocking the head of the entire corporation. Mark turned pale, swallowing convulsively. Beth's mouth dropped open in horror. The memory of that high-profile retirement ceremony and the widely publicized arrival of the first black woman CEO came rushing back to them all. Just 3 months prior, Angela had been handed the ceremonial key to Meridian at a gala event, with national media covering every second. Jessica herself had watched the live stream during a staff meeting, superficially applauding the progress of the organization. Yet here she stood now, having utterly failed to recognize, either willfully or obliviously, the face of her own chief executive. We've been reviewing your performance, asterisk, Diane stated, lifting her tablet to reveal a series of video clips. Each was a segment from earlier in the day. Asterisk, we've seen precisely how you handle people of different backgrounds, and we have the raw numbers to back it up. For quite a while, certain clients, particularly minority clients, have been walking away from this branch. Few formal complaints reached us, but the patterns are too strong to ignore. And what happened to Ms. Freeman today is beyond the pale. Asterisk. Jessica's face reddened until it seemed she might faint. She tried to stammer an excuse. Asterisk, this is all just a misunderstanding. I have to ensure, asterisk, but Diane continued, referencing times, dates, footage of white customers with large transactions breezing through, matched to nearly identical scenarios for Black, Asian, or Hispanic customers that required invasive scrutiny or were outright denied. It was a meticulously compiled case of blatant discrimination. So here's what's going to happen, asterisk, Diane declared. Asterisk, this is not just a violation of corporate policy, it may violate federal anti-discrimination laws. Jessica Keller, your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Asterisk. Jessica gaped, her well-crafted career of 15 years disintegrating before everyone's eyes. She managed to choke out a response. Asterisk, you can't do that. Asterisk. Angela calmly stepped forward, her voice even, asterisk, I can. I am the CEO, and your actions are inexcusable. Security will escort you out while you collect your belongings. Asterisk. Jessica stood stunned, breath shallow, as Thomas, the security guard, approached uncertainly. Richard and Mark began to tremble visibly. Diane pivoted, addressing them as well, asterisk, Richard, Mark, you're also dismissed. We have footage of your direct participation in this reprehensible behavior. Your boxes will be ready in the back. You will leave today and not return. Asterisk. Richard attempted to plead. Asterisk, please. I just followed her orders. Asterisk, but no one was listening anymore. They had shattered the core trust required in banking, turning service into an exercise in bigotry. Meanwhile, the onlooking customers were silent, in awe of the swift, decisive action from the top. One older gentleman in a postal uniform gave a subtle nod of approval. The jarring spectacle of these employees being escorted away was a moment few in the branch would ever forget. Beth, by contrast, remained at her post, tears streaking her cheeks. She'd been part of the wrongdoing but had shown clear discomfort throughout the confrontation. Angela approached her with a gentler expression. Softly, out of earshot of most, Angela addressed her. Asterisk, you recognized something was wrong. I could see it, even if you didn't intervene. Asterisk, Beth's tears came more freely then. I'm so sorry, she said with a shaky voice. Asterisk, I was afraid of losing my job if I stood up to Jessica. Asterisk. Angela absorbed her words, recalling her own early days at a teller window, feeling powerless in the face of wrongdoing. I understand, Angela said, asterisk, but we need people who will speak up. I'll be placing you on probation, not firing you. We'll also provide comprehensive training, and I expect you to stand up for what's right next time. Asterisk. Beth nodded, tears falling, visibly relieved at this small mercy. And so, within a single moment of clarity, the culture of this flagship branch pivoted. Customers who had watched the entire drama unfold felt the weight of the transformation, sensing that a deep-rooted flaw had at last been wrenched into the light. Angela stood near the center of the lobby, now flanked by a few loyal executives who had rushed in behind Diane. The marbled space felt entirely different than when she walked in a short time earlier. Gone was the sense of cold disregard. Instead, it seemed electrified by an awareness that a significant purge had just occurred, an institutional reset, of sorts. Some customers, upon realizing the woman who had been humiliated was the actual CEO, didn't know where to look. A few approached Angela hesitantly, unsure whether to apologize on behalf of the branch or simply thank her for revealing the truth. Others hurriedly finished their errands and left, clearly overwhelmed by the extraordinary events of the morning. Angela's gaze swept over the staff. Asterisk, Meridian Financial exists to serve everyone. Respect and fairness are not just bullet points in our mission, they are the lifeblood of our work. And starting today, we will re-examine every aspect of our operations to make sure discrimination like this never happens again. Asterisk. She paused, then continued, asterisk, what you've seen is not just a handful of employees making poor decisions. It's a toxic mindset that infected this branch. It ends now. We will create a culture that genuinely reflects our mission, from the top offices to every teller station. Asterisk. On that cue, Diane signaled for the new, temporary leadership to step forward, a compliance manager from another branch, along with HR personnel trained in conflict resolution. They began to coordinate tasks, updating staff rosters, resetting access codes, preparing transitional coverage for the day. This would be the beginning of a systemic overhaul. Within 72 hours, Angela stood at a podium emblazoned with Meridian Financial's emblem, addressing a group of reporters and cameras that had gathered for a press conference. Effective immediately, she announced, Meridian Financial is implementing our Equitable Banking Initiative. This plan is backed by $50 million to ensure anti-discrimination training, enhanced accountability protocols, community outreach, and more transparent operational standards. Flanked by the board members, some looking uneasy but nonetheless present, Angela presented the impetus for these rapid changes. She described how the bank had uncovered a pattern of discriminatory practices in certain branches, culminating in a high-profile incident at the downtown flagship. She didn't shy away from the truth, we regret that we allowed such a culture to develop. We're taking responsibility by mandating real accountability and education at every level. Journalists buzzed with curiosity. It was unheard of for a major financial institution to be so transparent about wrongdoing, and to commit a large sum to rectify it. They questioned the scale of the changes. Angela explained that everything, from performance reviews to branch evaluations, would now factor in equity and fairness metrics. Anonymous customer surveys would track experiences by race, age, gender, and other demographics. Staff promotions would hinge not just on financial performance, but on adherence to the bank's inclusive service standards. The press, always eager for a personal angle, pounced, Ms. Freeman, what about your personal experience in all this? Angela revealed just enough to highlight the problem, mentioning that she visited the flagship branch undercover and experienced unacceptable treatment firsthand. She opted not to dwell on the humiliating details, turning the focus to the systemic changes ahead. At Meridian, she concluded, we want every customer to feel safe and respected, whether they're depositing $10 or withdrawing $115,000. In the weeks and months that followed, Angela became a national symbol of corporate accountability. Some lauded her for setting a bold example, others questioned the bank's motivations or wondered if it was merely damage control. But as time went on, it became clear that real reforms were taking shape. Managers across the country found their annual incentives tied to equitable service metrics, not just raw profit. Hiring processes were revamped to include implicit bias screening. A new compliance department, set up to investigate any future complaints, had direct access to senior leaders. And in every branch of Meridian, a new sign appeared: all customers deserve respect, dignity, and fair service. If your experience doesn't reflect these values, please call this number, with Angela Freeman's direct office line listed beneath. Half a year later, Angela once again quietly visited several branches incognito, wearing simple outfits and using accounts set up for random tests. This time, she felt a profoundly different energy. Tellers didn't hesitate to greet her warmly. Customers of all backgrounds seemed to be treated with courtesy. Staff looked alert, confident, and more diverse than she remembered in prior years. The changes were still in progress, but they were real, and they were lasting. By risking that one humiliating moment in her own lobby, by calmly enduring the worst biases of her employees, Angela had triggered a transformation that would ripple not only through that bank, but across the broader corporate landscape. Over time, news outlets repeatedly cited the Freeman effect when discussing equity reforms in large institutions. Angela's stance proved that the top office could drive meaningful, sweeping change, if the leader had the strength, insight, and personal commitment to see it through. If you found the story thought-provoking, hit like, subscribe, and share it widely. Let this serve as a reminder that the words fairness and respect are more than corporate buzzwords. They are values that must be actively nurtured each day, and defended whenever they're threatened, no matter who happens to be standing at the teller window.